Baking a loaf of bread is such a satisfying thing to do and always impresses family and friends. This video demonstrates important aspects of bread making, such as kneading, proving and shaping. Once mastered, you will be able to experiment with flours, seeds and shapes to make different styles. For this basic white dough, use 500 grams of strong flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 teaspoons of dried yeast, and 300 ml of lukewarm water. This quantity will make 1 loaf and 1 baguette. Strong flour is high in gluten, giving more stretch and strength to the dough. We are using dried yeast, which combines with the dry ingredients and is convenient to store. Bread can be made by hand, but it is easier to use a stand mixer. Put the machine on a damp tea towel for grip. I use the paddle attachment for the first process. Add dry ingredients to the mixer and combine with warm water. Mix until roughly combined. If you prefer to use fresh yeast, you will need to double the quantity and dissolve it in a little of the water until frothy before combining it with the dry ingredients. The dough will look raggy at this stage. Don't walk away from the machine or it may walk off the bench. Change to a dough hook for the kneading process. Mix for approximately 5 minutes until the dough has formed a ball and come away from the sides of the bowl. Transfer dough to a smooth work surface and continue the kneading by hand. Bring together in a ball. Hold one side, push away and roll back up. Turn 90 degrees and repeat the action. This stretches the gluten and gives structure to the finished loaf. Expect to knead for up to 5 minutes until the dough feels springy, smooth and comes together. Kneading takes quite a lot of energy. You need to lean into it. There are different techniques for kneading. Some bakers slap the dough onto the work surface. Form dough into a smooth ball and place in a lightly oiled bowl. Cover with a tea towel and leave to prove for 1 to 1.5 hours in a warm place, around 20 degrees, until doubled in size. Bread will rise with quite tiny amounts of yeast if given enough time. The longer a dough takes to rise, the more flavour it has. This explains why different recipes use different proportions of yeast to flour. Check dough is nice and spongy. Turn out onto the work surface. Knock it back by pushing it in on itself twice. We're going to use 2/3 to make a loaf. Flatten the dough into a rectangle, fold 1/3 into the middle and fold the remaining third over that section. This is known as giving the loaf a spine and ensures the loaf maintains its structure when baked. Press together using the palms of the hands to make a torpedo-shaped loaf. Dust with flour, place it delicately seam down on a non-stick baking sheet. For a baguette, it is a slightly different process. Lift and turn the dough, fold in on itself and press with the palms to bring together. Flip and pinch along its length. Roll gently to a point on the ends for the traditional baguette shape. Preheat the oven to 250 degrees centigrade. Cover shaped bread with a tea towel again and leave to recover for approximately 30 minutes. Just before baking, the loaves are slashed with a sharp knife to allow even rising. Bread really likes a humid atmosphere which helps develop a good crust, so the oven walls are sprayed with water quickly just as the loaves go in. Bake for 25 minutes. Cooked bread should sound hollow when tapped on the base. Always cool before slicing.